the
you
type
could
of
say
product.
you should definitely. I mean, don't be shy. Take credit for everything you did because in such a short time, you've accomplished so much in your career. How quickly into your training at Creative Pro did you have your first match?
So technically, like, if you want to add in those 2 months that I was injured, I was 8 months in. I started training in March and I debuted in November. But again, 2 of those months I was like totally out because of my heel. So it's like 6 months in ring and there's 2 months not in the ring, kind of. So it's like, I don't know. It was about 8 months, I guess.
Okay, and then I know you did a lot of work for VPW, a Long Island-based company, NYWC. So actually, when was what was the date? Do you know, like the year it was when you made your debut?
2016.
2016.
I think
and
like November 7th. I think it was November 17th, 2016.
Wow. Okay, and actually, one of the first matches I saw you in was, believe it or not, it was recently. It was at Beyond Wrestling. Please Come Back. It was one of the hardest hitting matches I've ever seen. It was you and John Silver.
Oh yeah.
That match was. I know people like to use the term stiff or whatever you want to call it. That match was just brutal from start to finish. The crowd was on their feet. I believe that was your debut for Beyond Wrestling, and you got the.
I worked for PWR, but I was like the first Beyond.
Yeah, and when you got the win in that match, spoiler for anybody who hasn't watched it, even though it's 4 months old, when you got the win, the crowd went absolutely crazy. What was that experience like at Beyond Wrestling?
So John is one of those people. He's Long Island based, so he comes to Creator Pro a lot. He does the Creator Pro shows, and he's like very friendly with us. And he's been there, you know, throughout my whole start and everything. So I was like super comfortable and really happy. I was able to, or like he suggested working with me. Especially because he is one of the most him and Alex Reynolds are like some of the most underrated wrestlers I know. And it's like, it was just like, I remember like I'm driving him because he's a little diva and he falls asleep and he's just like, all right, what's your comeback? All right, what do you do? All right, we'll figure it out when we get there. I'm like, all right, whatever. So it's like, we're just calling this match and I'm just like, all right, this is just going to be like a match. It's going to be whatever. And then just like, it was just such a mind-blowing thing, like hearing the crowd react and everything. And I don't know, it's just like you don't really know how it's going to be or like how exactly things are going to go over when you're like talking about it as opposed to when you're in the ring and you just like interact with the crowd and you feel it out there. It's a totally different thing. But all I know is that, excuse me, is that after I won, my first thought was, I got to get to the back. I'm so blown up right now. I've never been this blown up before. I'm going to throw up in front of these people. I need to run away.
Well, I mean, the match was, I think it was about a 10 or 12-minute match, but it was a sprint from start to finish. If you haven't watched it, everybody check out Independent Wrestling TV. It's on there. It's on the Beyond Wrestling service. The whole show was great. Please come back. But then that was October 1st. Yeah. October 31st, you had another match with M-Dog, Matt Cross, a.k.a. Son of Havoc. I mean, did anybody have a better month of October than you did in pro wrestling?
It was definitely a busy month. That week where I wrestled Matt Cross, I ended up having a show. I had a show that I think, Halloween was on a Wednesday, and then I had a show Thursday, Friday, and Saturday also. So it was like the first of 4 shows. And I was just like, oh my God, long week. I had a really busy like month right there. But it was a really mind-blowing, and it was just such a humbling experience, like knowing how much trust Beyond Wrestling gave me after like just those 2 matches. And I don't think it could have gone better. Like, it was just crazy.
No, and speaking of trust, that Beyond Wrestling and WWR, Women's Wrestling Revolution, the trust they have in you. February 23rd, you're going to be back on the mound. You're going to be in the NYWC Arena against Lisa Marie Varon, a.k.a. WWE's Victoria. That is, I mean, I believe Victoria said earlier this year this is going to be her last year in wrestling, so she's going to do as many dates as she can. I mean, for you to have that kind of match with somebody, I don't think she's in the Hall of Fame yet. I don't think she's in the Hall of Fame yet. She will be. But for you to have that kind of match, what does that mean, and how big of a match is that for you?
So I was actually kind of pushed into like somewhat name wrestling, like wrestling a name, like very early on. Like maybe about a year in, I was wrestling Rosemary and Sienna, and I was like super scared. And like after those matches, I was like, oh, this is like the easiest thing ever. And I kind of just go into it the same way I go into any other match, where it's like I'm gonna just do my best and put it all out there, because I like to go into my matches thinking I'm gonna have match of the night, and especially when I have that name value with it, it's like now I have to deliver even more. But it's just like, again, it's like knowing that I'm put in these positions because the promoter or whoever trusts me to do it is like the best feeling ever. I am so proud to carry myself the way I have, like to be able to do the things I do just because people trust me.
And in such a short amount of time, I mean, your matches are just like it's incredible to think that you made your debut only 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now, February 23rd, we said Lisa Marie Varon, a.k.a. Victoria, at Women's Wrestling Revolution. February 24th, you're taking on the guy who's really good at Twitter, one of my favorite professional wrestlers in the entire world right now, David Starr. It's the Beyond Wrestling Treasure Hunt tournament. It's, correct me if I'm wrong, in the tournament it's you, David Starr, Jordan Grace, Josh Briggs, Solo Darling, Willow Nightingale, Chris Dickinson, and Wheeler Yuta. Wow, that is an 8-person, one-night tournament. How do you prepare for that, and what does being in a tournament with such amazing names like that mean to you?
It means I got to try even harder to win. That's what it means. That's
fair. I mean, there's a lot of such talent in that tournament. Every single matchup should be entertaining.
So the worst part is that the Friday before, I'm going to be in Canada, and then that Saturday is the match against Victoria. But then I'm also doing the NYWC show, the Psycho Circus. I'm in the actual like Psycho Circus match in the main event.
Oh, that's right, because the WWR show is early in the afternoon, so the Psycho Circus is that night.
Yeah, so I'm doing both of those shows. I'm doing like the hardcore death match at night, and then I have to go to the tournament after those 3 matches and try and win that. So it's going to be really tough, but I'm gonna summon my alien powers and my brethren from the beyond and pray.
Yeah, listen. Well, we'll be there on Saturday cheering you on. But I mean, to be put in a tournament like that, there's just it's Beyond Wrestling is such an underrated organization. I always kind of compare them to like the PWG of the East. They have just such a plethora of talent, and every show is just always delivers. I mean, a lot of the guys in Ring of Honor right now, NXT, the Biff Busiks, the Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, all those guys came from Beyond Wrestling. A couple of my favorites, Team Tremendous, are Beyond Wrestling staples. So if you're not familiar with Beyond Wrestling, independentwrestling.tv, sign up for the service. It's so much more than just Beyond Wrestling on there. It's WWR, Alpha One, CZW, all kinds of fun stuff. So if you're not familiar with Beyond Wrestling, make yourself familiar with Beyond Wrestling.
Yeah. They even have a lot of the matches up on YouTube, too. Like, I know they have me and John Silver on YouTube also. So that's for free if you really want to investigate.
And they also have, I was looking at their YouTube service the other day, they have like 10 million followers on YouTube, which seems unbelievable, but they do. I don't know how. I think that's amazing. They
broke it. They broke the million subscribers.
That some of the matches they have up there, I can't believe how many hits they have. But 1 million subscribers, I think it's such a good idea to put those matches out there, for free to entice people to definitely check out the wrestling service. Now, I know you weren't a fan of professional wrestling growing up. Did you go back and watch some of the earlier stuff, or watch the stuff before you, or are you mainly just focused on what's happening right now?
I try and do both. I probably don't watch as much wrestling as I should. Like, I do watch, like, what's going on with WWE now, and I'm like, aware of what's happening all over the wrestling world, but I'm so just, like, I don't even, like, I'm such a busy just in my life in general that I just, like, just to sit down and watch, like, a match or, like, just look up old stuff, I just, like, I feel like I don't have time to. There's so much that I would want to explore, and there's, like, I don't even know where to start. It's like, I don't have the time to just sit down and watch pay-per-views every night, so it's like, I don't even know where to go. I have watched some stuff from, like, the past, but don't ask me any history questions. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair enough. I would not do that to you. Listen, before we let you go, tell everybody where they can see you, where they can follow you on the Twitters, the Instagrams, the MySpaces, wherever it might be. Let everybody know where they can see what's going on with you.
So my Twitter and Instagram are both Call Me Kris Stat. Yeah. I don't know. That's all I have. I don't have a pro wrestling tee store. Buy my merch at a show. I'm going all over the place now, so that's good. This weekend I'll be at Nova Pro in Virginia, Pro Wrestling Magic in New Jersey. We have a Creator Pro show this Sunday at the Creator Pro School. And then next weekend, like I said, I'm in Canada Friday. I'm at NYWC twice Saturday, and then Rhode Island on Sunday. And I have a lot more shows, and I just don't know where they are because I do not have my calendar in front of me.
Well, so, but that's a lot. All the more reason for everybody to go to your Twitter page at Call Me Kris Stat and be sure to follow you where you're going to be. Also, everybody check out the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast at All Night Long WP on Twitter, on Instagram. Joe and I will be there next weekend at the WWR show. Looking forward to catching that. We'll definitely be there cheering you on and looking to buy some merch. So if you see Kris Statlander anywhere at any show, go buy some merch. I mean, who else has a sick nickname like the Alien? Go buy some merch.
The galaxy's greatest alien, to be fair.
The galaxy's greatest alien. We need a pro wrestling tee store. That's what we need.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I got to get more T-shirt designs first, though. You know?
Well, we'll definitely check back with you on that. Again, next weekend, February 23rd against Victoria for Women's Wrestling Revolution, and then February 24th against David Starr. Everybody go check it out. Kris, thank you so much for stopping by the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.